We got anything else in the news?
Yeah, we got two more. Brockman's got one.
Yeah, Cam Newton is in the news again for things he's saying and not saying. On the cover of GQ magazine, gave a wide-ranging interview, and of course, the topic of race comes up. Cam Newton said he is not subject to extra scrutiny because he's black, saying, quote, "It's not racism. Everybody is entitled to their opinion." He later added, "I don't want this to be about race because it's not. We're beyond that as a nation." Agree, disagree?
Depending on if we're talking about quarterbacking, I can agree with him if we're talking about his quarterbacking. I don't think Cam Newton is being, I don't think he's being judged as a black quarterback anymore. I don't think Robert Griffin is being judged as a black quarterback. I don't think Russell Wilson is being judged as a black quarterback. So that aspect of it, I agree with. I think a bad play is a bad play. You can look at a bad play by Blaine Gabbert and say that bad play is the same as the bad play by Robert Griffin III. So that aspect of it, I agree. As far as saying as a nation, race is not an issue and we're beyond race as a nation, I got to pump the brakes on that one. So there's still some ignorance out there across this country, and I think anyone who doesn't see that or believe that is being a little naive. It's okay to say that that's not a part of my makeup, that's not a part of my being, and I don't want to tolerate it. But you can't say that it doesn't exist, unfortunately, and that's how I look at it. So I'm assuming, which is all I can do in this situation. I haven't had a conversation with him about it. I'm assuming that he is saying my football is not being judged because I'm black. Yeah, him not jumping on that ball in the Super Bowl had nothing to do with him being black. That was just a bad decision.
Business decision.
And the wrong one. Okay. And that's my take on that one. What else we got?
And one of the sad things about the time we live in now is that in the clickbait world we live in, the headline is that last line that Brockman said, that we're beyond that as a nation,
sure,
but doesn't provide the context of him talking about himself as a quarterback. So he's kind of getting crushed right now for these comments, and I don't think people are fully getting the entire story. As you said, you're okay with what he said if he meant on the field, but as a nation, we're not really beyond it.
If that's a part, well, I think also a part of it right now, it's easy to look at Cam as the bad guy.
Yeah, people love to hate on Cam Newton.
It's real easy to do. Cam Newton is a cocky guy, and he's a confident guy, and that a part of that goes along with what he does. He's a quarterback, a lot of pressures on him, and he's trying to perform, and he's always performed. So yeah, he's confident that he can do it again, because confidence comes from doing, and he's done it before. So he feels like he can do it once again, and that's a part of it. And I think that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. If you don't have a strong personality, that can really rub you the wrong way. So whenever there's something questionable right there, as you just said, Law, I mean, they just put up the headliner, and they didn't tell you the rest of the story. So I'm assuming that that's the rest of the story. I'm sure he's going to get an opportunity to say it because he will be asked about it now.
Do you think we would be all over Cam Newton like this if he had won the Super Bowl? Like, what's the difference between him and Bolt? Bolt is cocky and confident and celebrates his victories. Cam Newton does the exact same thing. We love Bolt. We hate Cam Newton.
He wins. You're right. If you win, well, that's part of it.
Is there a team sport dynamic here?
Well, I'm going to say that part of it is Bolt he wins, but Cam, Cam hasn't won. If he had won the Super Bowl, I'm not going to say that. I think part of it, Usain Bolt is not American. That's part of it. Americans, we tend to be harder on Americans. That's one thing, I think. And if you don't believe that's the case, everybody hated, even after championships, people still hated LeBron James. Then, for no reason other than he decided to switch teams, that hate festered. So when you decide to jump on that guy for a reason, it's very difficult. And as Americans, we get on one another a little bit harder because we think we can take it. so that's a part of it as well. So Usain Bolt, he's cocky and brash, but you never hear his comments. You don't see him all the time. We don't hear what he has to say. There's a microphone in Cam's face. We hear a lot of it. So more of his personality comes out and people decide that they like or dislike a lot more. I think that has something to do with it.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.